Not a lot of times, not elderly people, people in their 40s, in their 50s, cancers, all these things. There's a lot of people that have died here the last few years. I mean, the official count, the official count that they've given is 12 people that died of Legionnaires. There's other reports that up to 120 people died of pneumonia and Legionnaires. And who knows? I mean, who knows how many people maybe had health problems before the water crisis, but those health problems were accelerated, like you're saying, like your mother here, and have died. I mean, there's a lot of people that are dying off here. There's also a lot of people that are moving out of Flint if they can. It's not cheap. And a lot of people think that's kind of the overall design here, to try and push a lot of the people out of Flint, to bring in industry, to bring in, some higher tax brackets, so to speak. Before we went on air, you were talking a little bit about that you think this is all, in large part, a plan to revamp Flint.
Well, I said intimate domain was the word I used because, like I said, I've been here since 1970. Since 1970, we have never had a bike lane. We had to ride bikes on the street, take our life in our own hands. But people are pretty cordial when they see a bike. But the first thing you do when you want to take over a city or make it a college town or whatever, you put bike lanes in. We have bike lanes. We have homes on South Saginaw that weren't there in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. We have homes that they put there that you can buy a house for $550 a month. Okay, where do they do that? $550 a month these days. Then they're revamping the downtown Flint area. We have Michigan State College. We have University of Michigan. We have Mott. We have other colleges that are coming in here. First thing they do when they want to get rid of the residents, they take the food. We have little grocery stores. We call them Paymore stores. They know who they are. But you take the big stores away so that we are uncomfortable, or the ones that can't get to them, we have to move closer. That means we're moving out of Flint. People that are leaving for jobs because you got rid of the jobs because you knew what you did to the water. The shops left because their parts were being corroded because of the water. We may not say much because a lot of people are afraid to open their mouths because we have to live here. Our families have worked. They bought homes. This is where they retire. The retirement money in the state of Michigan is not going to fund you to move to another state where the cost of living is higher. So we're pretty much stuck. And it shouldn't be like that. If you bought a home, you live in a place, and then you could afford it, just because politicians decide that they want the money, they want it to put it in their pockets. You have the lobbyists. I'm not saying it right, but I'm
Lobbies?
Yeah, those people. You have them that want the money for themselves. They don't care about us. It's a money thing. It's always been about money. Like they want to, down by Hurley Hospital, they got rid of houses so the doctors could have places. They could have more parking. They could do all of these things. They are making Flint look like something different. It does not look like the Flint I know.
And let me ask you, what we found dozens of homes that this testing was done essentially illegally. I mean, if you break federal regulations, that's not like a minor thing. Do you think there's any plausible way that the governor of Michigan wasn't aware what his agency was doing? Because it always seems like he just wasn't aware. Nobody told him. He was misinformed. Do you think it's possible that Governor Rick Snyder was not aware that his environmental agency was, first of all, they weren't supposed to be going into people's homes that were on this program? The official program was the Sentinel State program. These were 650 homes they chose to consistently be tested. The EPA told me and Jen that they were just supposed to drop off the test kits. They weren't supposed to be doing the testing. In what world did he not know about this? And if he didn't know about it, isn't that kind of negligence in itself?
He knew about it. He applied for the position of governor. He wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. And he knew that he only had a short time, so he didn't care. He doesn't care. He still doesn't care. What is he doing now? Before he goes out, he should do something. He should make sure that it's done right, and he should take himself to jail and lock himself in his closet.
Last question. You're a strong woman, obviously, but this probably has taken a huge toll on you. I mean, your mother in her golden years has been sick, and you have to take care of her, which is a full-time job in itself. You're having health problems, I'm sure, with your nephews and your nieces and grandkids, you said?
My grandbaby passed.
Oh, okay, sorry. This is not just physically tough, but mentally, how is this taking a toll on you?
I have insomnia. I told you, I have to think about my day 24 hours. I even think of what I'm going to do in my sleep the next day. I'm used to going to sleep and sleeping, dreaming, having nice dreams. I go to sleep now and I have to worry about, okay, how much water do I need for tomorrow? How much water am I going to need for the rest of the month? What am I going to cook? Because I'm from the South. We eat home cooked Southern food. We wash greens, we wash meat, we do all those kind of things, which takes water. I can't, because of my kidneys and because of the water, I can't use stuff out of a can. I've got to get fresh or frozen. So I have to think about all these things that were just natural, came natural, and I've been in the hospital. I've been in the hospital on stress. I've had surgery since the water because of issues that I don't want to put out there, but it's not a way to live. It's inhuman. It's just, I don't know. I can't even find the words to say how I feel. And I know my family and I know friends and I know other people that live here. They feel the same way, but they're busy trying to make a living. They're busy trying to see about these babies that have been affected. They're trying to make it. And we're not happy. We're not making it. This is a worse oppression. It's not a recession. It's an oppression that people can't seem to come out of right now.
One more. Everybody's very focused on the midterm elections, and rightly so. Very important, the midterm elections. But what strikes me? I've been here a lot. I've been here many times. This happened under a Democrat president. It was not fixed under a Democrat president. This has continued under a Republican president. Certainly not going to be fixed under this guy, now he's throwing out racist things, calling Barack H. Obama, which is obviously a racist dog whistle. You had a Democratic Congress. The Republicans were the majority when this happened, but aside from holding hearings, what did the Democrats do? Certainly, what did the Republicans do? You got people in the city council here that were frankly made powerless because you had an emergency manager. But it just seems to me we elect people, whether it's Democrats, Republicans, all over this country, and nothing's been done. Nothing's been done. Again, the actual governor and his officials that caused it were allowed to be the ones basically overseeing the recovery. Does it give you hope that there's elections coming up? Or do you feel kind of like Democrats, Republicans, they all let us down and everybody's kind of forgotten?
Actually, I don't think it's Democrat or Republican. This is a human problem. And I think the humans forgot that. I'm Republican, so I'm reserved. I'm Democrat, so I want to do for the people. We're at odds with each other. This is a human issue. And yes, it's a great thing to vote. It's an important thing to vote. But you have to realize a lot of people can't vote because their voting rights have been taken. And they've been taken for a reason. Because certain people want to stay in office, certain people want to get in office, but this is human. This has nothing to do with politics. And the governor shouldn't get off, the presidents shouldn't get off, but the presidents only know what's reported to them, whether it's President Barack Obama or President Trump. I'm not putting in either one of the presidents because they have so many people under them that drop the ball. So I'm not going one way or the other with the politics. It's human. These people act like they're not human because they're better. The slogan is, we're going to make America great again. America was great when people cared about one another, not when people cared about money, not when people cared about your race, not when people cared about where you were born, not whether they cared about what kind of car you drove, what house you lived in, what neighborhood you lived in. They didn't care. You were a human being, and they cared about you. So that's when America was great. Not when you were rich, a millionaire, billionaire, all that, buy anything you want to buy, throw stuff away. When people cared about one another. When people weren't dying of starvation. When people weren't dealing with this water. We're not the only one dealing with water. Now it's other people that are dealing with it. Now it's coming out. But the other people are still, guess what, in the state of Michigan.
Including Detroit.
Including Detroit, including surrounding areas. The schools are having issues with water and lead and all that other good stuff. But it has to do with being human. When can we go back to being human and care about one another?
Powerful. Mama, you should be proud.
I am very proud.
This is one hell of a woman. Thank you for taking the time, and we'll stay on it. As a reminder, here's what you could do. I understand the midterms are on Tuesday, and everybody's focused on that, but do me a favor. This story, we worked on it for months. Very, very important story. This story was killed by 3 news outlets, which I'll let you know a little bit more about that at another time. Those news outlets didn't want to touch it. You want to know why? Because it didn't involve Donald Trump, it didn't involve Russia, and they're too lazy to do real reporting, or too corrupt. Maybe a mix of both. But this is real people's lives. You want to drive around Flint? People are suffering here. And Flint is a microcosm for the entire country. Because like she said, there's other places that are having water problems that the media is not covering it. The politicians aren't doing anything. So it's up to you. It's up to me. Share the article if you haven't read it. Make sure people in your community, hey, pick up the phone, call your congressman, call your senator. What are you doing about Flint? They probably don't know what's going on. If you can, we do have our GoFundMe going. We're trying to do more reporting like this. I think we have the link there. We're almost at 20,000. But the most important thing, we can't take the cameras off or eyes off this city and this state and this situation, because if you do, they're just going to do it everywhere else. That's the playbook. When power, when absolute power, unchecked power is basically allowed to just, basically the reason they did this, the reason we found that they tested the wrong way is because nobody was looking. The state of Michigan didn't expect anyone to go knock on doors to see how they tested, so they just told residents to do it the wrong way, or they went in and had officials do it the wrong way. So share the article, post it on social media. This is a very, very, it's a scandal what they did here. Erin Brockovich called for criminal prosecution in our story. We have Congress people looking at it right now. So it might not sound that sexy, like, oh, they ran the water. It's not as sexy as, Trump tweeting whatever he's tweeting at the moment. But it affects lives, because if they ran the water, if they tested the wrong way, do we really know what the actual lead levels are in Flint? Do we know if people that are drinking out of the tap right now are drinking lead? That's the point. That's the point. So thank you for watching. Share this video, and we are going to be here up through the election, because again, this is the election that's going to put a new governor into Michigan. You got Gretchen Whitmer. She's not exactly progressive, but she's way better than Attorney General Bill Schuette. Bill Schuette is mini Trump. He's a mini Trump, the Republican nominee. And frankly, he, as Attorney General, I have sources, pretty good sources on this. He put his foot down and did not let his prosecutors touch Rick Snyder, the Republican governor. He would not let them go after Rick Snyder, which is a whole different story. So this election in Michigan is very, very important for the people of Flint, for the recovery of Flint, for accountability of who people need to be in jail. If you poison your citizens, whether you do it intentionally or just because you're negligent, if you sign up to be a public servant, you need to be held responsible when you kill people or you get people sick. It's that simple. So we will be here for the next few days. We'll be putting videos